want to thank you, Sally, for saying all the things I asked you to say about me, so thank you. You know, when I think about that Jackie Kennedy thing, I think how she didn't put a pin in the mourning period, come to New Jersey, punch me in the face as hard as she could, and then go back to Washington. How dare I be, but anyway, I was young, I didn't know I wanted to help. I thought I could help her, she was feeling blue. Her husband's head blew up in her lap, but I was gonna help her. Anyway, watching so many of you earlier stand up for all your achievements here at ODK, it's humbling. You know, I live in LA, where nobody gets a standing ovation unless they got paid for it. You know, it's like, you've seen the Oscars. Oh, let's stand up and cheer. They worked 8 weeks and got $19 million. Good job. Good. You know, you guys you're doing the hard work, so congratulations. All right, now, I know a lot of people, before they get up and speak in public, they meditate. A lot of people work out, get those endorphins going. What I do is I watch YouTube, and I watch videos, two kinds of videos. I watch models falling down on the runway. Because, I mean, come on, they're like 6'2", they weigh 62 pounds, they've got that vibe, you know, you love me, I hate you, you love me even more. And then like an ankle wobbles or a knee buckles, and down they go. Is there anything better than that? The other thing I watch are videos of people who text and either crash into stop signs or fall into fountains. I can't get enough of that. Now, here's the question. As you see, I walk with crutches, I wear a brace, and even with all that help, I have been known to faceplant. So, is it the worst possible karma for me to laugh at people falling down? Yes. And no. Because every good thing I have either stumbled or fallen headfirst into. You know, don't get me wrong, it's a lot nicer when the stumbling is metaphorical, but sometimes it's literal. But still, it's the people, it's like those people who collect old cooking oil, you know, and then they put it in their car and make their car run. I mean, it's whatever works, use it. You might smell like old dim sum, but you still got to where you've got to go next. So whatever works, I use whatever works. So here I'm going to give you right now the patented Janis Hirsch way of pretending that happenstance and mistakes are intentional philosophical decisions. Okay, the best part about growing up in Trenton, New Jersey, and that is a phrase you don't hear very often, but the best part of growing up in Trenton, New Jersey is that it was really easy to leave Trenton, New Jersey. Because 30 minutes south, you were in Philadelphia, an hour north, you were in New York City. It was great. When I was 8, my parents took my sister and me to see our first Broadway show. And my sister liked it, but me, I was transformed. I was transfixed. What I stumbled into that Saturday afternoon at the St. James Theater was a feeling that I never knew existed. I felt lighter than air. And as someone who was rocking a Chubette 14, lighter than air was not normally my go-to feeling. But I felt like my eyes were open wider than they'd ever been open. I felt like I was smiling so hard, my face hurt. There were like fireworks going off in my brain. I was not expecting that. I mean, I thought I was going to like it. You know, I liked listening to shows and listening to music. But there was no way I could have planned or prepared for what I was going to feel that day. I stumbled into it. And I stumbled into feeling happier than I ever thought possible. And I was a happy kid. I had friends. I liked school. My grandparents owned a candy store, which also explains the Chubette 14. But anyway... come on, you know, so mind you, I wasn't 24/7 bundle of joy. I could be as whiny and sullen as the next girl. My theory is that instead of sending our precious armed forces into Iraq and Afghanistan, Syria, wherever we were sending them, what we need is 5 or 6 pre-teen, pre-hormonal girls, because they are the meanest people on earth, right? They will get things done. They will scare those infidels and those insurgents. They will get them in line. You don't, seriously. So that's just my little theory. Anyway, when it came time to go to college, and aren't you glad I skipped middle school and high school? I bet I had you scared there for a minute. Anyway, when it came time to go to college, all I cared about was that it was nice weather and there was no math requirement. So leafing through the college book, I stumbled on the College of Winter Park, Florida, Rollins College, and it checked all the boxes. Well, you know, it checked the weather box and it checked the no math box, and those were my boxes, so that's fine. This was an instance where I perhaps should have stumbled into research before I stumbled into sending a deposit. I got there, I was flummoxed. The first thing that happened is I got a letter from a student who was going to welcome me to Rollins. Lovely. What she told me to do is make sure to pack a locked strong box for my more expensive jewels. I had a knockoff Swatch watch. That was my jewelry collection. And then she told me to take padded coat hangers because she said in the humidity, the wire ones would rust and stuff. And it's like, I had 2 pairs of jeans and a T-shirt that said draft beer, not students. So I really didn't need, coat hangers were not high on my list. Oh, and also her return address had the word plantation in it. I am a Jew from New Jersey. Plantation was not a word we heard a lot. So anyway, I end up at Rollins, and when I got there, I didn't know a soul, but you know, all the other girls were pairing up with their roommates. At least that's how you start. Well, my roommate was devoted all her time to eating mayonnaise out of a jar, so she was like really busy all the time. She was busy. So that's where I made a crucial mistake. I was not going to let myself stumble around blindly and find just anybody willy-nilly. No, I was going to have a plan. I was going to have a purpose and make decisions, and I was going to pursue them. So first, I thought, student government. I'll get involved in student government. I had no interest in student government. And yes, I know in this group especially, I'm as shallow as a kiddie pool. I can just announce it here and now. But I had no interest, so I went there, I sat there for a while, and then I just like slowly, you know, my chair got closer and closer to the door till I was out. Then I thought, oh, the student newspaper. Well, I can do that. And like after like one meeting, I sort of said, oh, I thought this was the laundry room, and got up and left. So I couldn't do that. So I joined a sorority, and that was fun. It was nice to have, you know, some friends and a place you could go and hang out. But still, something was missing. And it wasn't until I stumbled into the theater department. Now I wish I could tell you that was divine intervention that I stumbled into the theater department. This is Central Florida. I was looking for air conditioning. That's all I cared about. This was the closest building that had air. I was going in. But when I walked in there, I could exhale for the first time. I realized I found something that I didn't know I was missing. And the more time I spent there, the more I had that same feeling I had when I was 8 years old. You know, I was excited and happy, and I was really curious, and I was challenged, I was surprised, I was thrilled. And that is a lesson I keep forgetting to this day, and I have to relearn it over and over. Doing something right for the wrong reason is a huge time suck. After college, I started out working in theaters in Coconut Grove, Florida, and West Springfield, Massachusetts, and then in New York at the Lampoon. And then we did a second Lampoon show with Gilda Radner and Billy Murray and Harold Ramis, and that was great. And then I moved on to PBS, where I worked in public relations. And then from there, I went to a private public relations company. Every one of those I stumbled into. I ran into somebody knew somebody, I was at the right place or the wrong place at the right time. And every one of those jobs, I absolutely loved, because the fun of it, of stumbling in, was that I had no idea how to do any of this stuff. I didn't know how to work in the theater. I didn't know how to do public relations. But figuring it out was really, really fun. And the harder I worked at figuring it out, the better I got at it. And that was really fun. So here's how I got my first big break in television. I stumbled to answer the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. My phone rang, and it was a woman named Ann Beats, who I'd admired at the Lampoon, and then she went on to the first year of Saturday Night Live, SNL. And she'd gone to LA, and she'd made a television pilot, and it sold. And she remembered that I did publicity, and so did I want to come and do publicity. Now, that she didn't remember it was 3 o'clock in the morning. This was with the 80s, kids. This was what the 80s was like. But anyway, so she offered me a PR job, and I said, no, I don't do publicity anymore. I'm a writer. Because again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I can say whatever I want to say. She said, okay, you want to be a writer? That was because I stumbled to answer the phone before the voicemail picked up. I mean, the show was Square Pegs, which did star 15-year-old Sarah Jessica Parker. And guess what feeling I had when I got to work? It was that same feeling I had when I was 8. I was so excited. I was so filled. And from there, I hopscotched. And again, because it's me, I mean hopscotch in the metaphorical sense of hopscotch. I hopscotched from one job to the other, having the time of my life, working with people that filled my heart, making people laugh. They're making me laugh. It fueled me in ways I never thought possible. Now, I only had 2 bad experiences working in television, and I've been working TV for a long time. One, I was on a forgettable show, but it was nice people, fine. It was never going to make history, probably wouldn't get picked up again. And I got offered a really super prestigious show. Now, I admired this prestigious show, but I had nothing to say for it. There was nothing I wanted to write that would come out of these people's mouths. But I knew how great it would look on my resume. So I took it. I was so miserable. I got a bald spot right back here. Right here. The minute I left the show, like a chia pet, grew right back. Like that. Just, it was just aggravation. But that was my own fault. I took it for the resume. There was another job I had a bad experience on. It was another prestigious show, which I knew I didn't want to write for, but I had to pay for my son's bar mitzvah, so that is a wash. I went into that with my eyes open. Okay. So since the Bald Spot show, I have stumbled into some other truly incredible jobs. Not necessarily award-winning, not sensationally well-paying. I mean, I'm doing better than a coal miner, so that's good. Not rungs on a corporate ladder. I never had a plan. But it filled me with so much light, and I honestly couldn't wait to get to work. I made friends for life, friends I have to this day. I just got a picture of two friends from 2 different shows who are working together on a show now. And I would laugh so hard all day that I would feel so guilty that I would lie to my husband when I came home from work, and he'd say, how was work? And I go, fine. Because I was having that much fun. All right, I said I had 2 bad experiences. There was one more. And then I will tell you my third, and then I don't know about you, but I will go back to my room and cut myself out of my Spanx. I have like 2 hours of air left in me. That's all I've got. I got nothing more. So we're gonna get through this pretty quick. All right. In the mid '80s, I somehow stumbled onto a groundbreaking show that would be the first comedy series ever on Showtime. It may have been the first comedy on pay cable. I don't think HBO had one either. That was so long ago, the character got bleeped on Showtime for saying the word shit. That is now like the word of the day on Sesame Street, right? So the show is called It's Gary Shandling's Show. And it was really cool and really exciting. I was on the first 6 episodes. It was weird and amazing. And Gary, if you ever see it on YouTube or something, Gary talked to the audience. He broke the fourth wall. It was really funny. And it was a blast to work on until it wasn't. I was the only woman, but that's okay because mostly in television, until really the last 10 years, there's usually only one woman on a show because they had to hire a woman. But what I was fine with being the only one, what I wasn't fine with was there was only one actress on the show, one woman actor on the show. And the guys, the writers, who really loved this woman, she's the greatest, used to refer to her the way that I would just call somebody, you call me dude or a guy or whatever. They would call her the Slit. Oh, I think we have to write a new scene for the Slit. Janis, do you want to write it? And it's like, I don't think that's a good word. But the darkest day, I'm in Gary's office, and I'm pitching him something. So we're sitting, he's behind his desk, face to face, and a couple of guys are behind me, and I feel a tapping on my shoulder. So as you do, you turn and look, and someone has draped their flaccid penis on my shoulder. And so you look, because at first you're going like, am I a pirate? Is this like a dead parrot, a dead skinned parrot lying on my shoulder? What is that? And then you make a joke and you go, oh, it looks like a penis, only smaller, ha ha ha. And you know, and the guys are all laughing. They're hysterical. But I'm feeling, you know, the tears are somewhere in there. And you go, and women you know, and probably some of you men know, you go, I am not going to break down till I get in my car. Okay. I'm not going to cry till I get into the parking store. Okay. I'm not going to cry until I get into the hall. Oh, shit, I'm crying. And, you know, the next day I was fired. So welcome to Hollywood. That was what happened. Anyway, so that story, long time ago, became part of my repertoire. I told it. It was important for me that I own it. But I also told it because I like turning a horror into something funny. It's the cooking oil, you know. I wanted it to be my story, and I wanted it to be a funny story. So I told it in every room I was in. And sort of to say also, you guys can't break me, and sort of as the way that, you know, like on Game of Thrones or something, you put your enemy's head on a spear. It just proves you're not going to take any prisoners, so don't cross me. So last May, it was I looked at my calendar, it was like a year exactly ago today. I was working on a pilot that Amy Poehler was doing with Carol Burnett. And because everyone in the world wants to work with Amy Poehler and Carol Burnett, and they're smart to want to do that because they're so cool, a lot of writers were cycling through. Every night we do a rewrite, and different people would come in to help out. So one night there were these two women. I liked them. They were in their 30s. They'd been on some very cool Tina Fey shows. They were best friends since college and a writing team. And when we finished work around 11:30 or 12 that night, they said, we'll walk you to your car. And I thought, oh, good, you know, walk the old lady to her car. That's lovely. And when we got there, one of them, they looked at each other, and then one said to me, we know that story about the penis on your shoulder. And I was stunned, and I thought, like, how do you know? I've never met you before. We've never worked together. I've never been in a room with you or anybody. No. And the other one said, because you dealt with it, we didn't have to. Well, I was so grateful. I started to ugly cry. It was the happiest ugly cry you ever saw. I got in my car. I was draped over my steering wheel. I was happy and grateful. I was crying, and I had that same feeling I had when I was 8 years old. My heart was so filled with gratitude and that same remarkable feeling, you know? I mean, it was there for me. I stumbled into it. I had no expectation that was just my story. I never thought it was going to pay off in any way, but I stumbled into it. And please know that if you're not the one stumbling, somebody around you is. Put your phone in your pocket. Get these things out of your ears and start listening. Because first of all, you're going to eavesdrop, and that's the best thing you can possibly do. The way I'm going to die is in a restaurant. I'm just going to be leaning back, trying to listen, and then I'm going to go right down on my head and crack my head open. But eavesdrop, listen, engage, be there, pay attention. You know, smile at people. I mean, not the ones that are like fighting with a fire hydrant. Those maybe you don't have to talk to. Say hi to dogs and babies. Just babies. I made the mistake last week in a coffee shop of saying hi to a toddler who began to scream stranger danger on the top of his lungs. I had to back out there. You can, keep the coffee. I don't need the coffee. But hold the door for somebody. Tell the woman who's bagging your groceries that you like her earrings. Fold that middle finger back and let the gold Lexus cut in front of you. Just let it go. You may have inadvertently stumbled into someone else's journey and been just that little bit of light that they didn't know they were looking for. You may have inadvertently given someone that last push they needed to take their first stumbling step in a new direction. And in the most fantastic fluke of fate, that little nod of gratitude that they give you to acknowledge that you connected with them, that may just be the speed bump you need to stumble over that changes something or everything. So the question is, am I still going to laugh when a Dolce & Gabbana model goes down like a marionette on the runway? Yes. Hey, come on. And am I going to watch every video I can find in which somebody texting belly flops into a koi pond? Again, yes. Because sometimes I laugh just because it wasn't me who did it, and I'm so relieved. I look around, oh no, I'm dry, it wasn't me. So I laugh. Sometimes that spill reminds you that it's okay to laugh at yourself or to turn something that you thought was humiliating into a funny story. That way you own it. But mostly I'm going to laugh because sometimes stumbling into an unexpected laugh can reset your whole day. So keep stumbling, keep laughing. Thank you very much, ODK. Thanks so much.